Good morning, good morning, good morning. What is up, folks? It is Thursday, June the 5th. JT here with another Xtrades FOMO live stream. Hope y'all are ready to get into it. Let me get my screen sharing going here. Let's see. There we go. Chat is open. What is up? I guess that's Stinnett. Hope you're doing well. Bright and early. First one in. Navy Plum. Good to see you. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Everybody's been well this week while I'm still kind of getting myself back up to speed as best I can. I've kind of just been watching a lot, trying to get my bearings and kind of catch up on all the catalysts out there in the ether, if you will. All right, no, good morning to you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. All right, so let's dig into it. Let's get going. We'll let folks filter in as they can. I don't need these ads. Thanks, Discord, but no thanks. All right, so what are we looking at here? As we always do, we like to start these morning live streams with kind of a ES perspective to get our bearings on, should we be leaning bearish? Should we be leaning bullish in general, especially with tickers that like to follow the markets? Overall, ES looks like it's, trying to break out to me. We did push through this, somewhat hypothetical trend line that we talked about on Tuesday's live stream. However, we got through that, and ever since then, we've kind of been banging our heads up, or I should say ES has been banging its head up against this NTS key sell pressure, trying to push through, but really kind of struggling, and things have kind of just been flat and choppy for the last couple of days. So it will be interesting to see if we can't finally get a good push. I'm kind of eyeballing somewhere over this 6,000. That's probably a pretty good psychological level anyway to keep on watch. So, keep 6,000. Keep your eyes on that for a potential push higher if ES can get a good break and perhaps even a break above and back test to reclaim that as support. That would really set a nice base up for things to try to push higher from there. But overall, like I said, things just looking a little bit flat, a little bit choppy at the moment. Let me go put out a quick message to the chat, let folks know. I know we've been off track for several weeks, and certainly not by my choice, but sometimes you just gotta take care of other stuff. And I just went through one of those phases, so let's put this out there. All right, so what's up, Prof? Good to see you here. Hope you're doing well. Let me also say good morning to the folks on YouTube. Hope they're all doing well. What's up, Kamar? Hope you're doing well. All right, so let's go. Let's dig into it. So like I said, ES needs to break 6,000, preferably a break and reclaim. And I think we open up a lot of room to the upside. But until that happens, things look like they could stall out here. They could certainly go flat. I'd be not seeing anything that really, to me would be like an excellent short trigger. I would say perhaps if we break back below 58.70, we could see a bigger pullback and maybe a revisit of 57.40 possibly. But overall things are looking pretty decent, and some consolidation here up near that 6,000 level, which again is not all that surprising. Sure, we can take a look at Tesla. Happy to do that, Kumar. So let's get to some of our trade plans. We got plenty of those to recap, and then we'll start working on some of these new trade plans and ticker requests, just like Kumar's request to take a look at Tesla. We certainly can do that. Let me adjust this. It's so far off. I think it got saved while I had that adjusted for some other chart, probably. All right, so we did Google. That was one of our top tickers that the AI bot has been feeding the top analyst and top traders team here at Xtrades. We talked about this on Tuesday morning's live stream, looking pretty bearish. We expected it to at least get a test of PT1. It definitely had a volatile open, testing that PT1 support, but ultimately came up for a back test of that sell range there between the put entry and put stop loss average down. So remember, as we break below these levels, these back tests, especially as long as our indicators are still looking bearish, can be really good opportunities to catch short rejection opportunities and take puts for some quick downside trades. We did run up into that sell pressure, came back down to PT1 a second time, so a couple of opportunities to scale out there at PT1. But Google looking actually pretty strong this morning. I'm not sure if there's a catalyst or something. Let's see if there was any specific news. Fully committing to AI, supply chain. Maybe that has something to do with it. I mean, they've been pushing for that, but I know that there's been a lot of question over how there's their dominance over the SEO field, and search engines is being affected by folks gravitating more toward AI. But if Google kind of stays the course and follows, their audience, to, focusing on more AI driven stuff, they will probably pivot and handle that well. So Google is trying to push here, clearing over the 333 SMA. Would be really interesting to watch for entries down here at 169.14. We've got a nice confluence building up there with that 333 on the 15-minute coming down, getting ready to add some additional buying pressure right there at that 169.14 level. So look at that as a potential bounce opportunity to catch some upside moves on Google, especially if that 333 SMA confluence stays true when that test happens. That could be a really good entry opportunity, and you could set your stop loss down there at the put entry at 167.63 and be good to go for playing some of these other levels to the upside. So Google played out bearish for our price target as discussed. Didn't make any further price targets, but that's the nature of these trade plans. Sometimes one target, one PT is all you get. We also talked about how bullish AMD was looking going into Tuesday's open, gave us a quick, very close to a really nice back test there of the call entry, and just absolutely ripped up toward PT2. I did mention in the chats pretty briefly, I think I think Tuesday or yesterday, I forget which day. Again, I'm still a little bit all over the place. As long as PT1 is holding, AMD looks pretty bullish to me. I'm pretty sure was my exact words, or were my exact words. And sure enough, we did get a nice test of PT1 there yesterday, and now we're up, getting very close, and I'd say probably pre-market here within a reasonable range of hitting PT3. So all of our upside targets hitting here on this AMD plan. We called it bullish on Tuesday, and that has played out excellently. So hopefully you all have made some money on that. Also, Marvel was in our top tickers list, and this one has looked really good since yesterday. Nice dip there. Key buying pressure on NTS has got it pushing higher and trying to grind its way up to PT1, getting very close here pre-market. So keep an eye on this one to continue higher, it looks like to me. Especially if it can get a break over 68.31 and a nice back test of support there. That could really be a nice opening to try to catch this for the next leg up on Marvel. So keep those levels on watch. Alerts will be fed into the chat, so you guys will know when it is time to take a look at these charts and these levels, and with the thought of potentially taking action on something if you see a setup that you like. And then on Tuesday's live stream, we did UNH. This one's been pretty much just flat within our range since then. It's kind of looking very middle, like kind of mediocre, mixed. I'm not seeing really kind of strong indications either way. I do like that it's holding bullish here. NTS, though, I would just really like to see it get above these moving averages, and then we could see it try to make a push for 309.86, and then hopefully a breakout, pushing higher towards some of these upside price targets all the way up to 345. And then SMR, this is another one that this one dipped. So we did this one Tuesday, Again, it stayed within our range, did give us a nice bounce off the put entry, which is support until we get a confirmed break below. And now we have the 200 SMA here on the hourly coming up to add some confluence there at 29.57. So if we get a test of 29.57 again, could be a nice double bottom, 200 SMA, good support confluence there. So yeah, 29.57. Watch that for a potential bounce opportunity here on SMR. That could trigger a nice move to the upside if that holds and that bounce does play out. So those are the trade plans that we currently have in place in our tracking. So let's get to some questions and some new ticker requests this morning. If you guys don't have the chat open, please make sure that you do. That's how you can post your ticker request and questions to me here while we work on these trade plans live. I see Kumar again has already requested Tesla, so we'll go ahead and start taking a look at that. But while I'm working on that, if you all have ticker requests or questions that I can help with, feel free to go ahead and start dropping those in the chat here, and I'll be happy to take a look. We'll build up a trade plan on the ticker request, or I will do my best to answer your questions, give some insights from my experience as a trader. All right, so let's go Tesla. Don't need you right now. Trade plan pilot. Okay. Pretty kind of messy, but pretty decent. 333. Oh, excuse me. SMA rejection there Tuesday. Let's take a look at this. Let's zoom out a little bit. It's been a while since I've looked at Tesla. It looks like it has struggled a bit after Elon's exit from whatever he was doing in DC. Just want to get some kind of perspective real quick, because like I said, I haven't looked at Tesla in weeks. Yeah, it's looking pretty bearish here on the hourly. It's broken below that 333. Trying to catch that support there at the daily, 321.08. Look at the 4 hours as well. And last but not least, still some love here on the daily so far, but definitely room to move to the downside. Also, golly, let me get my words out. Also, notably, a gap left to fill down here to 307.15, so I'm going to want to keep that level on watch as we go through this trade planning process here on Tesla. Okay, so the question is, when something's made a downside move like this, and really I think the good downside entry is right here at 327.16, but we're already below that. I think below 327.16 does open up room down to 307.15 and potentially closing that gap, but we're already below that, like I said. We're already eating up some of that move. I don't necessarily love an entry at 313.22 because I think that that's just too small of a window. Oh, hang on a second. This gap is actually quite a bit lower. Sorry. I was looking at the daily chart, but yeah, forgot I was that far zoomed out. Again, I'm still getting my sea legs back. So this gap actually does have more room than I realized, down to 299.31 actually. All right, well, in that case, I do kind of like this 313.22 as an entry. I take that back now. Glad I saw that. Yeah, I think we can set our stop loss right here, just above this daily level, and maybe that daily level needs some adjusting, but for now, I'm just going to kind of mark it as a level for me to come back and revisit. But I do kind of like that stop loss average down there at 323.35. First price target on that gap fill down to 299.31. Definitely could be a big bounce there. Once that gap fills, again, generally speaking, when we see a gap fill, we tend to see the price action shift directions and reverse. So I would certainly scale out heavy at PT1 on this downside setup. Um, don't hold for the home run on that one. Just take your profits and get ready to look for other entries and other setups. That's kind of the idea, right? Just keep moving on to the next thing, book your profits, move on to the next one. All right. I think the second price target actually probably sitting more like this. Yeah, it's right about there. 286.66, not a level I currently have documented, but that just means I haven't spotted it yet. I certainly would use that as a second price target, and then third PT. Could dip a little lower, but I think at this point of 274.71, we'd be silly to not be booking a lot of profits or all profits and just totally moving on to the next trade or the next setup, even if it's on Tesla. Just wait for the next opportunity to present itself and be ready to execute. So I like that downside trade plan. To the upside, it does look good, or it would be a good look. How about that? See that 334.07. Tesla could reclaim that as support. I think we can share stop loss average down with the downside trade plan, and I think that will open up room up to 348.27. That interesting rejections. They're just shy of this daily level at 356.92. Maybe that daily level needs a little tweaking. Kind of wondering because it's not seen anything super clean, at least not on this recent price action that has me feeling super strong about where it currently is. So I would say with that slight adjustment down to 355.64, use that as PT2. Third price target. Take a shot at this weekly level at 365.03. Make sure you're moving your stops up as you're scaling those contracts out for profit. Never let a green trade go red. Well, never say never, probably. Try your best not to let green trades go red. How about that? All right. So let's go ahead and map this out. 334.07 break, looking for 348.27, 355.64, and 365.03. The stop loss at 323. Oops, 30. Okay, I did type that right. I almost said it wrong though. 313.22 is the put entry. 299.31, 1, 286.66, and 274.71 with the stop loss average down share with the upside. 323.35, 323.35 shared stop loss. Okay, that looks good. Let's pop this on. Let's adjust that Y offset a little bit, probably from a smaller dollar ticker. There's move. View taking its time on updating, or is it just I need to have bigger moves on this? Yeah, that's all it is. Tesla's just high enough to where that Y offset needs to be a little bit bigger. That looks good. So let's do this. Let's clean up. Whoops. Oh, where did, oh, there we go. All right. So let me share this with you all. Live stream plan. And over in Xtrades, and then we'll move on to Apple. Get this also posted in the Elite chat, so everyone knows what to watch for. Let's grab our message link. Regular trading hours. Discord link's good to go. Let's set our alerts. Any alert every 30 minutes. Good to go there. All right, so let's talk through this real quick. The alerts are set. The plan is in place. Let's roll through it real quick. Just kind of talk our way through our levels and what we want to do. So again, we're looking for a break below 313.22 to play Tesla for continuation to the downside. With targets sitting at 299.31, 286.66, and 274.71, with a stop loss average down at 323.35. To the upside, we're looking for a break above 334.07. That should give us targets at 348.27, 355.64, and 365.03, with a shared stop loss average down with that downside trade plan there at 323.35. Those are your Tesla trade plans for you, Kumar. Let's go. Let's make some money. All right, what do we got next? We've got Apple. Oh, before I forget, I almost skipped a step, so we can circle back to this in the future. Thursday live stream plan 1. Let's lock it in there. Yes, I want to replace it. Yo, what's up, Chris? Good morning, brother. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Hey, better late than never. That's what I always say. We just did a Tesla trade plan. We are now getting ready to work up one for Apple, and I guess we'll be looking at apply. What is it's applied something, right? APLD. Applied digital. Thank you. Try to have a large dictionary of tickers and what those companies actually are and do, but I can't keep track of them all. I knew part of the name. I'll take that as a win. All right, so let's get to our levels here. Let's clean these up real quick. All right, Apple, what do you want to do? This is another one that I have not looked at probably since Tuesday, the 29th of April. Would be my guess. Because the month of May was just a really bad blur. All right. Let's see. Let's zoom out on this a little bit. I'm just, again, trying to get my bearings real quick on these ones that I haven't looked at in a while. Seems to be a pretty interesting downtrend that I would definitely want to see Apple shake off. 1, 2, 3. We've got confirmation below the 200 SMA. But I will also say this one's in a bit of a symmetrical triangle pattern. Just two pretty decent trend lines here on the 4-hour, both quite clean. A little dip below there, but nothing crazy. But 3 really good tests there, 3 really good tests there. So yeah, we're just waiting for this one to pick a direction, it looks like. And when it does, we'll probably see a pretty good move, whichever way it decides to go. So let's figure out where the real key triggers are for that to happen. Yeah, I like this 206.24 level for a break over. I know we got a little bit of a potential bull trap right there the other day, but we were still below the downtrend at that point. Moving forward, if we break back above 206.24, we will also be above and outside of that downtrend. So I think that's why that looks like a little bit of a better potential setup, even though it may not have worked out here quite recently. Things will have changed as far as kind of this chart pattern goes if we break over 206.24 again at this point. So question is, where's a good first price target? I'm going to turn off my indicators just for a second. Sometimes all I want to see is the candles. It'd be just a little bit low. It's right up in this range. Yeah, that's like almost a consequential shift there. Although sorry, I'm just trying to figure out, we use that as a first price target, which, you know, is a decent move. The question becomes, where is a well-informed stop loss that doesn't put us at risk of having an upside down risk reward on the trade? I think it is right around where we're sitting at pre-market. It's a level I've been looking at this whole time. Mark this out like that. That's another one. I'll circle back to and just double check myself, adjust if necessary. But 203.82 I think looks like a fairly good stop loss for this particular setup that we're looking at the moment. Definitely would look to take more profits if we make it all the way to 212.66. Over that, there could be actually a pretty decent move. So our third price target's going to be a little bit of a stretch, but I think it's appropriate, up to 218.71. And now for the downside plan. I've kind of been looking at this setup as I've been looking at the charts. Low 198.77. Sorry, my price levels are a little squished together there. Stop loss would be right around, yeah, right at this 201.67. First target, I know we've seen some sweeps below this level, but I think 194.72 is really key support and would be a smart place to book profits. Below that, we do challenge just below this weekly level down to 190.17. And from there, I'd be looking at 186.42. So let's plug in our levels. We've got 206.24, 209.51, 212.66, and 218.71. Again, a bit of a stretch there after PT2. Stop loss average down 203.82. Put entry at 198.77. PT1 194.72. 190.17. 186.42. The stop loss average down at 201.67. We're not sharing. No sharing on this one. All right, so indicators hidden. That's what our trade plan looks like. Let's get this chart cleaned up real quick. That looks pretty good. I'll leave those trend lines on there just for reference. Let's set this up so it'll be easy to read. See, this is now a little too far offset now that we're looking at Apple and not Tesla. Go. That needs to come down some. Good. Okay, perfect. So, all right, Professor, go take care of those patients. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you spending what time you could. So here is our Apple Extreme trade plan. Should have copied the duh. All right. Got it for the Discord folks, or the YouTube folks, I mean. There you go, in YouTube, and then let me get this posted in the Elite chat. All right, so what are we looking at here on Apple? We are looking for a break over 206.24 with targets at 209.51, 212.66, and 218.71 with a stop loss average down at 203.82. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 198.77. Should give us targets at 194.72, 190.17, and 186.42 with a stop loss average down at 201.67. let me get this locked in as a template, and then we'll get to apply digital for my homie Chris. Thursday live stream plan 2. Save this. Also grab our message link. Regular trading hours, so we're not blowing up the chat all hours of the day. Let's get this dropped in there and get these alerts set. Oh, I think I forgot to adjust the expiration on that other one, but I'll fix it here. Good, good, go. All right. So next we've got apply digital. Well, this one's Chris is playing out an old trade plan, it looks like, all the way up to nice test of PP3 there yesterday. That high a day, literally, like to the penny. 1508, 4 cents off. All lumped together here. It's on for now. 2. Make them all look the same. There we go. Okay, APLD. Big move since Monday. Massive move. Now this is clearly not all-time highs. Let's go back to the chat. Plus 75%. Yeah, it's big. That weekly resistance, though, strong resistance right there. Although I will, whoops, didn't mean to grab that. I will say, definitely looks like a good short opportunity if it does pull back below 1126. Calling that now. We'll put our stop loss average down 1250. On that, I can tell already. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's see where this potentially goes higher. Yeah, I mean, that's just a really good weekly level at 1504. A really good, really clean one. I think if it can break that, it will move higher. I know that seems like the obvious level to pick, but sometimes the obvious level is the right level. Zoom in a little bit here, but I'm already thinking 1689 if 1504 breaks. Yeah, I'm not seeing much that says we couldn't get there. So I like that as a first price target. The other thing I would like to have a better feel for, though, where is a smart stop loss average down in this range? Yeah, it's probably this weekly level. I may have this off just a hair. That does clean it up a little bit through there, and there. I do like that as the stop loss. We're at 1353. Second price target. Interesting gap level there. We've got a level worth watching up here at 1798. And third price target is going to be up near this weekly level. And that weekly level may need a small adjustment. Yeah. Hang on. We haven't tested up there since then. It's kind of been pretty limited price data up here, but I think this weekly level actually needs to move up or down. or we're looking at two different levels. It's also a possibility. There's a gap there. It's interesting. I mean, it's filled, but I'm having a real hard time deciding on this third price target. Sorry, I'm getting stuck on one. Yeah, let's go with this. I like it right there. I'm gonna come back and check this level. I think that looks pretty good. So let's start marking up these downside targets. If, big if, this does break to the downside. So Chris was there. Was there a catalyst that has this pushing like this? You probably already knew what I was going to ask. Apologies for having to ask, but again, I'm still getting up to speed. Ah, I heard, yeah, and CRWV has been moving heavy too. 7 billion. Billion with a B. Do like that 9, is that 53 is a first price target to the downside. Second target, this weekly level. Right about there. Billy Billions. Oh, Billy, oh, Billy. Hmm. Yeah, let's. Yeah, I like that as a third price target. We might be stretching, should maybe be at 757, but at that point we'll be decently in profit, and any kind of trailing stops that you have will have you out for profit anyway. So let's take a shot at getting that extra 30 cents down to 727. All right, so let's lock in our levels on the trade plan pilot here. 15, whoops, not 150.04, 1504, 16. God bless America. There we go. 8 and 1921, 13, put entry 11.6, 963, 859, 7.27, 1250. Fingers working. There we go. All right, that all looks pretty good. Pop this on here. Just that Y offset. Now we're working with a smaller dollar ticker. We need to tighten that up a little bit. That looks nice for you guys and gals. All right, let's go. This is Applied Digital. Looks pretty clean. Good risk rewards. Okay, let's go. Copy link. What's up, Shinobi? Good to see you, brother. Always, always, always happy to see you, and happy to be back in the mix. Trying to get back up to speed and back to my old ways after a few weeks off for life events, we'll call them. Dramatic life events. All right, APLD live stream plan. Let's go. 3 trade plans this morning. How about that? Good stuff. All right. That dude's hilarious. I want to hang out with him. What's his name again? Hezbollah or something like that? Hezbollah, yeah. Interesting. All right, so I think you're right though. It is spelled really weird. Okay, let's get this into the elite chat. And let's get our message link. Let's put this here. Let's lock in template. come back to it. And let's set our alerts. Yep, good. Minutes 30. Don't forget to adjust the expiration date like I did on that first one. Go. All right, so let's talk through this real quick and then we will call it a live stream for Thursday. What are we looking for here on Applied Digital? We're looking for a break over 1504. That should bring targets at 1689, 1798 and 1921 with a stop loss average down at 1353. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 1126. That should give us targets at 963, 859, and 727 with a stop loss average down at 1250. Those are your Applied Digital live stream plans. All right, folks. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for joining this morning, both in Discord and on YouTube. Did I see the video where Mike Tyson? Yeah, I did see that, actually. That was pretty funny. As we always say here on these FOMO live streams, plan your trades, trade your plans, go out there and get some green, keep your wins big, keep your losses small. Remember, we're looking for profits, not perfection. So stick to your plans, accept the losses when they come, and your plans are invalidated, and make sure that you're booking profits at your targets. That will keep you green at the end of every week. Maybe not at the end of every day. We all have red days, and that's fine. Just make sure you're green at the end of the week. And if you're green at the end of the week, that means green months and green years. So with that being said, this is JT signing off for another Xtrades FOMO live stream. Keep your eyes out for an announcement. I'm going to try to do something, probably not this coming weekend, but perhaps next weekend or the weekend after. I'm going to try to do something where I just do something on a weekend where people are a little bit more available, and just doing some live Q&A, maybe some more live trade plans. I don't really, have a strong plan for it. I just kind of want to keep it freeform. But keep your eyes out for some announcements on that. I will make sure that the word is out when the time comes for that. So with that being said, again, thank you all so much for joining me. We will, be back next Tuesday. Yeah, Vince, buddy. All right, we will be back next Tuesday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is my first week back after several weeks off. It feels good to be back. Thank you all so much for joining me and being patient while I was not able to be here. So we'll see you guys next Tuesday, and in the chats in the meantime, until then,